Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Lucid, and I am joined once again by Maryland.
Howdy, folks.
Thank you so much for joining me, Maryland, this fine early afternoon.
Early fall day. It's coolish out.
Yes, it's actually cold. I had to turn
Is
the
it?
heater on in my house for the first time this year, so.
Yeah, I had to close my windows a bit because the breeze was coming in a bit too chill. It's been mildly freezing at night, so it's still pretty warm for November.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of chili, we have, the Almish people are in a bit of a hard situation. They have the cold winds of the elves of Vanheim blowing in.
Well, doom is upon them,
Doom
potentially.
seems to be upon them. However, their hand is not yet played. They still have a lot of armies, a lot of mages, but it just seems like everything is going against them one way or another. And
Well,
there were some little things like maybe not having the right number of communion slaves, which kept them from getting key spells off, to just kind of getting picked apart by the elves.
yeah, and one of the things is he struggled to effectively use his elemental royalty. He's lost a lot of it. I think all of it by now, or
Yeah.
close to, from memory. So that really restricts some of his capabilities.
I feel bad for him too, because I'm sure, like, if I were playing losing every one of those elemental royalty would be like a very bad, painful memory. And like every time we talk about it, I'm sure it's just like poking like a soft, festering wound.
It's
Poor
a
guy.
morale buster.
Yeah.
That is definitely a morale buster, and I can relate. We'll be seeing that coming up here fairly soon in the Hydra game, which will start up, I believe, any time now. And I can appreciate the feeling of, oh my god, I did everything I thought I could do, and I still got in trouble. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. The other news from last turn, of course, the summary, and for those of you who missed it, go back and check it out. There was a huge battle between Zabalba and Ashdod. And Zabalba said, I've had enough of this business of you camping out on my cap and not storming it. It's not cool. I'm going to bring everything I have. I'm going to ride out at you. And I'm going to cut off all your retreat routes.
And
it didn't
just
work.
didn't quite work.
It didn't quite work.
It came close. It wasn't that close from what I remember.
It wasn't that close.
It wasn't that close.
But it was the Zabalban goddamn kitchen sink, and I'm glad he threw it at somebody. So,
well, there does come a point in time where you just can't leave somebody on top of your cap forever. And
yeah,
I appreciate that feeling that, all right, let's go. Let's give it a shot. We'll just try to damage him.
Yeah. So, okay. So, which conflict do you want to start with today, Maryland?
I think let's read Van and then look at the Almish Van situation, because
that's kind of the hottest one right now.
My turn to read or yours?
Why don't you go for it?
Okay. Remembering that you can't see assassination, I better tell you that Alm has been hitting me with 4 earth attacks before each of the big fights I had with him. Oh, well done, Alm. Only half of them have been successful so far. Well, half isn't bad. And the only significant thing he has killed was a lion tribe shaman that was supposed to cast mass protection. He tried to defend with creeping doom, but the earth elemental just crushed all the bugs. Sorry, I paraphrased there.
No, that's fine.
Last turn, he almost killed my Valkyrie hero, but she managed to survive with 4 hit points, even though none of her bodyguards showed up. Alm casting Wailing Winds this turn was a big surprise, but fortunately that wasn't enough to win the battle, so I'm pretty happy so far with how the war is going, even though Alm are providing a bit more resistance than I expected. And actually a little less resistance than we expected. Or at least I did. I expected Alm to resist even harder.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been trying, but just like you said, little things just didn't quite come together.
And I mean, I'll be honest, it's kind of the nice thing of casting is that sometimes it's just okay to say, I don't know. Like, I really didn't know how this conflict was going to play out.
Not at all.
It just depends on so much. It depends what Ulm can bring, and we don't know exactly what Ulm can bring and all of this stuff. I mean, we kind of knew more about what the elves would bring. I had no idea really what Ulm was going to do.
We'd seen the elves do pretty much what he's doing, with the exception of what he's talking about here. This game is the first time I am using Storm Demons, and I have to say that I am very impressed with them so far. The only problem being avoiding friendly fire. Most of the vans I lost in the first big battle was because of Storm Demons hitting them.
Yeah.
Carrying Reanimation is a great spell for getting Siege Chaff, and with Darkness up, those Soulless are pretty strong in combat too. Yes, it is if you can find the corpses, and there's enough.
Yeah.
It's very efficient if there's lots of corpses. So we should pop out to the...
Right. I don't think we have any messages from Satis or Olm, which is the rest of the...
Oh boy.
So he storms this fort here. There's basically nothing inside.
Yeah, we don't need to watch that.
Oh man, he was doing some master or some enslave. If he got that master mason, that might have been a good pickup for him.
Yeah.
Let's go see if there were any big battles here. Here's the other big army. Okay, so the big armies, nothing significant has happened.
No.
And this was not an Elmish fort he took, right? This was always an elf fort, right?
I believe that was always an elf fort.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took that from... That's remnants of... Whose original lands? That's Pythium, I think.
Wait, where is the Pythium cap? That was
a Vanarus fort.
Oh, Vanarus, yeah. Pythium is over here. This is Pythium, yeah.
Oh, and it's got Pelagia on top of it.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, let's not spoil that. That's interesting as hell, though. Pelagia is on the move, making plays.
But I think we're just going to be looking at thugging, counter-thugging here in the Elvish Van War. So, okay, a successful counterattack, a few Dust Walkers left around.
So let's see what he's still running around with this van.
These were cheap. This one's not.
This one's not. No, sir. I mean, this is a 10 fire gem item. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well.
But look at it. 23 protection. That is a beefy boy.
Yeah. So he's having to... Now, that's an interesting comment. It looks like he might be having to beef up his Van Jarls because Alm's counterattacks are successful enough that he has to put a little more gear on them.
Yeah. What is this? This is Vanarus. So, man, he's really pushed in here into this Vanarusian land.
Well, I'm sure if we look at the province graphs, they're going to be painful.
Okay.
So put on another siege.
So we've seen all of this.
Actually, if we could glance at that big castle storm, just the
Which
one
one?
that was successful, or any of the ones with storm demons, it's just something I wanted to look at. You just pause it and right-click on a storm demon and look at its strength for siege power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 3. Oh, yeah. So we're getting up there towards Agarthan kind of siege power.
Yeah.
And if you compare that to, say, his Einheirs, they're probably 2.
Are they that much?
If even.
Oh, 1.4.
Oh, no, only 1.5. So, yeah, so those storm demons are helping him siege significantly.
Yeah, it's about 60 siege strength
and
just from storm demons.
Actually have quite a hefty siege power.
Oh, wow.
But a terrible siege defense.
Wow.
Yeah, because mindless doesn't matter in breaking walls.
And they're strong. I didn't realize they were quite that strong. Damn.
They are strong, yeah. So that's a lot of siege power. I'm guessing 500-600 siege power.
Yeah. Okay.
Very difficult to stop.
So we looked at that. This is a little different than what we've seen. So Alma is attacking with a little raiding force into Vanheim land, and it looks like he's going to do... I was thinking he's going to do Wooden Warriors.
Maybe not.
Just protection. No. Protection. And then Swarm.
Oh,
okay.
And there is Swarm. Okay. Magma Bolt. That's solid.
Oh, no. A friendly fire on the Earth Meld. Oh, that's a zinger.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Oh, bummer. Well...
I want to watch this again and see how Ulm scripted these guys. So Iron Skin, Earth Power, Legions of Steel.
But did it miss?
I don't think that hit this guy.
No, I think it hit his bodyguards.
Oh, man. Did it hit these guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
bummer.
that sucks.
Yeah, it does. And then
Tempering of the will. Okay. Tempering of the will actually makes some sense because if it's a Van Jarl with a Vine Shield, it will help.
right. Yeah. Okay, and then some mag bolts, which are doing fairly well, but I think he's fatigued out now.
Yeah.
And then, sadly, the Master Smith goes to cast a Blade Wind, which will put him to sleep forever.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think if you look at this, the Master Smith didn't really do anything. He did Iron Skin, he did Summon Earth Power, he missed with Legions of Steel, and then he Earth melded his own dudes.
I'm not entirely sure the Iron Skin was a worthwhile script.
Yeah.
My argument is that Master Smith is going to fatigue out and be killed anyways. So whether or not it's got any protection is only going to make like a single round difference in how long it lives.
I think it makes sense maybe to do it as like script slot 3 or 4 because, that way they don't die or they're not as likely to die. But
because I think a Legion's
he wasted his buff scripts on that, while the troops were near him on Iron Skin. And so that's why he missed Legions of Steel. I don't know if it would have been enough, but it might have been because these guys only hit for 24 and these guys had 22 protection. So jumping up from 23 to 26 actually is a huge difference.
Yeah, if that Legions of Steel had hit the guys he meant it to hit, it might have been the difference. Might have been. But, a low-cost effort.
So Vanheim doing his first... This is really the only medium squad we've seen from Vanheim. Either it's been thugs or an army, and this is like a medium squad.
Well, that's 20 Storm Demons, so
yeah,
medium is relative.
And that's true.
There's very little chaff in front of them, but they just trash things. Look at the range.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the range.
That's pretty brutal.
There goes the Black Lords, there goes the Templars, there goes the Elemental. No, I missed, but...
Yeah, they're really good. But they're expensive, and they take a lot of mage turns, so...
Yeah. Oh, building up this many of them took him a long time.
Yeah.
He was at that a long time. It's a lot of slaves. They're 8 each, I think.
I think they're actually 10 each, I want to say.
Okay, and we've seen what looks like 100.
Maybe, yeah.
So...
Almost 1,000 slaves. Yeah.
1,000 blood slaves.
But they're good. I mean, but like you said in the message to us, they cause a fair bit of friendly fire.
Well, I've got them in my one Agartha game, and I'm tossing on Iron Warriors or Marble Warriors on them. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly they go from ethereal to 20 protection and ethereal.
Yeah, they take protection buffs real well.
Really well.
So, okay, he took a bit of attrition, which was almost all friendly fire, but but worth it, I would say. Kills a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Over here, more raiding. This one also doesn't work, and there's no mage support here.
Yeah. So, but
I'm guessing this is the same script issue where he's going to miss.
Yeah.
Some of these guys must have gotten hit from that, right? Okay, yeah, this guy's 26, but almost everybody did not get hit.
It's also Barbarian PD, which has a decent chance of punching through.
Yeah, and again, this is right at that damage threshold where you really want that Legions of Steel.
The Earth Elemental. Yeah, see, the Earth Elementals are just not holding up to Einhairs.
Yeah, Einhairs are very killy.
They're Ginsu knives, yeah.
Oh, do we have any that have gone berserk here? Oh, here's one.
Yeah.
Chest wound 1 is 1 strength. So, but yeah, I think honestly, man, I think it's like if he gets Legions of Steel on these guys, I think it's a lot different because it goes from basically them doing reliable damage every hit to they have to get a DRN roll to do damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
I don't know if that would have won it, but...
It's just timed a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
But, well, not maybe wrong, but a little tweaking on that script might make a difference. Okay.
Boy.
I don't see much else.
One of the things Ulm has been doing a very good job of, and this is, I think, super important when you're fighting elves or anybody applying a ton of raiding pressure, especially to like your forts, he's challenging as many things as he can every turn. You know, like this fort had a dude on top, and he's breaking out with some stuff that would kill some things. You know, it's not like a scout breaking out.
Yeah.
So he's challenging a lot of stuff, which is good. Oh, here he kills a Van Jarl. Let's see if he gets any gear. Oh, this is an expensive Van Jarl. I mean, this is a 25 gem Van Jarl. So he's got these guys to catch flyers in the back. Oh, and this guy does not fly. And this guy is now fatigued out, so his defense isn't going to matter because of all these guardians. So he loses a crap ton of guardians here, and these are expensive and they're kind of hard to mass. But, you know, it's a 25 gem Van Jarl, so that's a pretty good trade. I didn't lose you, did I, Maryland?
No, just briefly.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. Yeah, I think we've covered
I think the
it.
internet's a little scratchy today.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure why.
So, on the Satis side, he's moved on top of another fort. So this is the army that had taken this fort. He's moved over here.
Yes.
He's raided this. And he's now on top of this one, which is Satis's cap. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
I do think this is the right call, keeping this army over here. Even though I'm not sure it can finish Satis off, but maybe it can.
Yeah, we debated that. Boy.
I think we have to look at the graphs, Maryland. I don't know how else we're going to be able to tell how this thing is going.
So we need just the 3 on, right?
Yeah.
You turned all them off.
I turned all them off. Here we go.
And maybe Satis.
Provinces, he's down a little bit, but still not as bad at the beginning of the Great Elfing. Vanheim's up some. Gem income, he's down some. Vanheim's up some. Income, he's down a lot, but in Vanheim's up some.
Yeah.
Army size, he's down some. Vanheim's up some. The graphs still don't make it look very dire. The graphs make it look like he's still in this. He's not out of it.
No, that army size one might be a little distorted in that Van just told us he did carrion reanimation.
Oh,
so
right.
So that could bump it up very, very fast.
Do we see that? Where did he do that? Is that...
This is huge wolves.
Well, that's normal reanimation.
Yeah, it has to be where he already owns a lab, because you need a lab to cast it.
Yeah, I don't know where he did it either. Okay. Well, I am rooting for Ulm. I'll put that out there. I'm rooting for him. I want it to work, but I don't know how it will. And this turn was not a great turn for trades. I mean, the things he lost were super disposable. He didn't lose a lot of gems. He just lost like a mage and a few troops, which is like totally stuff Ulm can throw away and should throw away.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't trading great, you know?
Not great. He's down a little on the trades, but he's working at it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He's punching out aggressively, which he's going to need to do if he's going to stay alive.
The thing I also don't love is we still haven't seen him combine. He needs to make a stack appropriately strong enough to fight this. And it's the same problem that End was having, where End is like scattered to the wind a bit, and Pangaea has two. It's actually almost the exact same, because I think Pangaea also had like two major large forces. And
can anything fight that?
Right, I think you have to. If you can't fight it, you lose the game. Right, so you have to put something together to fight it.
Yeah, because that's just gruesome. Because you need shock resist, you need massive amounts of protection, you need all of the battle enchants you could pull off. Hopefully, Will of the Fates, so that everything's got luck. That's going to be a tough thing to fight, because yes, there's a lot of chaff in that big Vanheim army, but there's also a lot of elite troops.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, the other thing that could happen is if Vanheim's winning this war too well, it may trigger, like Pelagia to attack him, or I mean, he has a long nap with Pangaea, so I don't think Pangaea is going to betray that, especially while he's eating End.
Yeah,
but
Pan's probably pretty busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all right.
I don't have much more to say about that conflict, except that I think Satis, well, like you said, choosing to just run away from Satis probably wasn't going to help him, because he needs to clear up that border, and it's probably most efficient to try to finish off Satis, damage Satis so badly that he doesn't have to fight over there anymore.
Right. Okay, so let's go on to the Pangaean conflict. I'll read these. I totally mind gamed myself out of casting Serpent's Blessing. Like, he knows I have Water Random Dryads and High Enchantment, and it's a fatigue strat, so of course I'm going to cast Foul Vapors. Of course. And I did not. And I also didn't cast my own resist buff along the same lines and his vapes took out my precious adepts, including the empowered one. Well, I'm using my own vapes with that stack now, and I'll empower another Air Fire adept to get winds back online. I'm not sure exactly which winds he's talking about.
Yeah, what?
Might empower the Titan into air for the same goal, since it's really that good.
It must be Wailing Winds.
It must be Wailing Winds, yeah.
He's empowering it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Because I don't think he means Winds of Death.
The other thing, Maryland, is somebody had told me we have missed a couple of the End Pangaea fights. And I went back and looked, and we did. I know we at least missed one, and it was like a medium fight that End won and killed some Pangaean stuff. So I didn't
think there was any that were too important.
Yeah.
And we're trying to stay at an hour, so we're skimming over some fights that don't look interesting that might end up being interesting if we went in.
Right. But I was just thinking, this whatever Pangaea was talking about here, I don't actually remember him getting vaped and losing that stuff. So it might be another fight we missed. End also is doing way more blood hunting now, and he's making friends. Another permanent blood summon. Oh, and other permanent blood summons. I really shouldn't be happy about this. In fact, I should instead march up and put a stop to this whole bloody nonsense and retake the Throne of Knowledge and knock out his cap to stop his Bernie face from teleporting at me willy-nilly, and turn off the Sacred Faucet. Making our part of the map look like a checkerboard is just a minor upside to this.
Okay.
Since I'm doing some internal movement, I'm probably going to be down provinces again this turn, but hopefully not so many. But hopefully not so many as all that, since, okay, I don't know if I'm reading it wrong or if that was typed a little weird, but I'm doing the same pretty heavy seduction. There can't really be any thought of peace at this point, just on account of how hideous our borders would be. Yeah, that's kind of true. The technical term is illegal bloodfuckery, but you can't say that on your wholesome Christian YouTube channel. Oh, whoops. Or I might lose my Disney sponsorship.
Yeah, okay, well, I think the odd swear word, because we don't swear a lot in here, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's Pangaea. We don't have any word from End.
No.
So let us see what happened. Now, the situation of this had been End basically decided to go on the offensive, while Pangaea was attacking him.
But where? There appears to be one too few big Pangaean Doom stacks. I thought we had one more.
Well, let's see if there's a battle here. Just a few Maenads here.
Okay. So they die. Oh, he's putting up Solar Brilliance.
Yeah.
Okay.
He may have actually had some friendly fire here. This is a Sage. Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm with you. I don't know. I thought there was supposed to be another big one around here. It might have gone stealthy.
Maybe it did. Yeah, good point.
Because he was saying he wanted to go mess with End's cap. So it's possible it's stealth through.
Yeah, but... Okay, so that's a possibility.
There's also a big stack up here.
Oh, maybe that's the one. Oh, that one's going to try to finish off these edge border forts, it looks like. But as far as siege forces on these other forts, they're just fairly token. Okay, that Vanarus, we've seen that buzzing about before. Token siege force. Oh, there it is.
Well, yeah, this is the southern one.
There.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. Hold up. But okay, context. We need to establish context for this. This fight is on the southern border of Ind's territory. And on the southern border, as with on the northern border, Ind decided to, instead of try to intercept the elusive Pangaean armies, to ride outward and to try to take Pangaean infrastructure. And this allowed Pan to get an enormous army between Ind and all of his actually fairly weak palisade-type infrastructure. And this is this army crushing through the choke point, and Ind has decided to ride out to meet it with just the smallest group of things I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, that's pretty minimal. So, is that a single storm demon, 2 feeds of darkness, a few sacreds, fire elemental.
I mean, only turn team code disgrace. This is going to be an absolute massacre.
So is there 1 foul vapors up or 2?
Solar Brilliance. So that's an important reveal. You know, Ind knows that Pangaea is not going to be putting up with his darkness anymore.
Yeah.
We have 1 relief by Pangaea. We have a Solar Brilliance by Pangaea's Frostfather. We have Howl and Foul Vapor. So yeah, Ind with none of these. Wow, they are holding up a lot longer than I thought.
They are.
I think Pangaea has been putting a lot of his own dudes to sleep.
Is that Bane in the front geared up? There's a... Oh, he just died.
Well, we might be able to tell. The
Bane.
Bane.
Yeah, it got soul slayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there must be some Foul Vapor's chip damage getting through the...
So he loses 11 Centaur, but he gains 2 Soldier Priest and loses 5 White Centaur. He lost a lot more than I thought he would, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if... Because I know that Serpent's Blessing is 10 poison resistance, and I know that you can get some chip damage getting through. At least that's been my experience. Some chip damage will get through it. It's most likely only going to hurt, you know, low hit point things like the Maenads. So some of those Maenads might have been killed by the Foul Vapors, but I don't think it's terribly important. This wasn't a high commitment effort on the part of Ind.
But, I mean, what is he going to do now? This is, you know, Pangaea's probably going to go march into here and go fight him. And
well,
he doesn't, right? It's going to let Pangaea know. Pangaea is going to lose his shit when he finds out that Ind had a mount chaining.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ind can do anything aside from teleport their god here, maybe. So
well, he's pulled everything out of the forts nearby it, and those forts are at minimal level.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, okay, let's look at it this way. What if Pangaea is like, I guess Ind doesn't want me to go here. Maybe I won't go here. Maybe I'll just take both of these forts and 1 turn crack both of them and force him to decide where he's going to send his shit. There's so many different things he can do, and meanwhile, Ind's like, we're gonna go take your infrastructure. I do not approve. I mean, like, okay, how many commanders does he have here? Kind of a lot, so he's probably not going to be completely wrecked by seductions, but...
Yeah. Hi.
Well, I think he's just getting completely outmaneuvered on the strategic map.
Yeah. But we've kind of seen Sai outmaneuver people steadily.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's been able to come back from the pounding he took, both he and Vanheim took, fighting each other, and come back and hardly pause. There's really been almost no pause in his aggression.
Yep.
I don't. I've only played with Sai, I think, a single game, and we were allies, and so I'm not too familiar that is he this aggressive always, but he's very aggressive in this game. Very aggressive.
Yeah, and it's just working out for him. I mean, he's been making hay. Yeah. Been making absolute hay.
I think if we look at graphs, this is not going to show well. These two.
Yeah,
nations.
So let's do these two.
Because Pan up on.
Oh, that's army size.
Army size. So both are up. Provinces. So I mean, it's a back and forth.
Yeah.
Forts is going to be, well.
He lost one here, and he got one.
Yeah, but it's still very back and forth.
I mean, but In's income is going down. Like, this is a pretty significant, almost like a 20% drop in income. I guess Sai's income's been going down a little bit too, though, huh?
But Sai also said that, as far as he could tell, Ind has increased his blood hunting, so Ind's income will drop if he cranks up his blood hunting. I wonder why they're taking a Dominion dip. I wonder if Pelagia is doing a Dominion play. Did you see those Dominion dips?
Yeah, how about that? We'll have to... the elves, Pelagia...
Oh, it's almost everybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's Dominion? Oh, Vanheim. No, Vanheim isn't blood sacrificing.
I mean, it could be Ulm, but... I mean, Ulm's is a little positive.
Was there... maybe there was one of those worldwide events where everybody's Dominion dip. I just saw that Dominion dip on 2 graphs and thought, well, when I see that in the game, I'm usually thinking somebody's blood sacrificing.
Yeah. This, though, is another interesting conflict, kind of like the Ulm one, where to me, it looks like Ind is really getting ground down, and the graphs kind of say, no, he's hanging in there.
He's hanging in there, yeah. So maybe we're wrong in that this method is... The question will be, how many forts does he lose?
Yeah.
Before he can realistically start punching back.
Yeah. I just feel like he's out of position with so many things right now. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I might have scorched everything to his northern border, just burnt it all to the ground and pulled back. You know, that's a strategy. He
probably could have held most of it, though.
I don't know that it always works.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm very tempted when I feel like... See, some players, they're very easy to draw too deep, and they don't maintain enough small forces to hold against counter raids. You can encircle them, and then things like a fear play, all of a sudden you make them all run away and they all die.
Right.
But I don't see Sai ever getting trapped like that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, so it's kind of just been another turn of grind. We don't even have any huge battles set up, it looks like, because I don't even think there's anything to fight this.
Yeah, but none of them look terribly interesting. Just some thugs, counter-thugs.
One kind of interesting option is he could, because I think this is a reasonably obvious move for him to move an army in here. He could gateway some of his sacreds in here and really prepare for a pitched battle. That's potentially a play. Like, maybe there's a bait. But... we'll see. So I think next, let's go to Uruk and Pelagia. Good news, the game has recognized that Debreithia shall be my new capital and has given me a province income plus 25 event. Excellent. Going to try to create a bidding war by threatening to sell my pearls to Pelagia for gold. Not sure what my plans will be, but next province I take will double my size. All right.
Well done. Well done.
Turn 60, one expansion? Here we go.
Yeah.
Objective in the game for who to grant victory to. Tier 1 end. We've had peaceful relations all game. He was sort of my neighbor, and I feel bad about the border. Tier 2, Ashdod or Vanheim. Ashdod should be Tier 1, except that I'm pretty sure he will want to fight off Jotunheim for a bit, leaving me to fully 2v1.
That I don't think he did, because remember, he bought peace with Jotun and it didn't pay for him. He ended up getting nothing out of it because he gave Jotun that NAP, and then Jotun could come and take that throne from him or whatever. And then by the time that came about, Pelagia has eaten Jotun and it all ended up for naught. So I don't think Ashdod did backstab him the way he's talking about there.
I mean, he was fighting the bats. I think the bats did attack him. So I think he was fighting Jotunheim when the bats attacked him, and the bats attacked him as is customary before they had finished killing off Uruk.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Tier 3 Pelagia fish. I'd rather not have Underwater win 2 tournaments in a row. Tier 10 Pangaea. He attacked me. This I'm obligated to ensure he loses. Oh, so Vanheim's tier 2. Okay.
So he's not included Ulm in it. So his vote on the Ulmish-Vanheim conflict is pretty negative for Ulm.
Yeah, Ulm scales out too hard. So he's saying basically what we've been saying, which is just that...
And what many people have
Ulm
said.
has a mid-game timing, and if you don't hit it, if you're not firing on all cylinders at the mid-game timing, you're going to be paddling up a pretty fast-moving creek.
Yeah. Yeah. Ulm took a little too long on certain other things.
So, Uruk, where are you? Uruk is over this way.
Brithia. There he is.
So he has not planned his next attack yet. We'll have to see what he does.
Well, it has to be. Kind of has to be Ashdod, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If he's going to go somewhere.
But he's got a nice 2 pearl and 1 air gem a turn income.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But he wants Ashdod to do well, so we'll see. All right, Pelagia time. And then I guess we'll do the Zabalba Ashdod thing.
My turn.
You want to do this?
Analyzed why my communion burned out. Mostly had to do with scripting regen too late and transferring Army of Lead to the communion 2. The mystic couldn't wear boots underwater. Oh, yes. Okay. That's always annoying. All in all, however, Zabalba lost big last turn, and the war will be in mop-up phase from now on. The fort I captured revealed the magic graphs. Yes, we were watching for that. So now we know exactly how far ahead Vanheim is in gem income. Back to Pelagia overall strategy. The best chassis for Pelagia Rainbow Blast that would make the most out of Pelagia's Sacreds is likely the Lobster Riding Archmage, because he gets 3 miscellaneous slots, meaning he can wish from a base astral path of just 5 or even 4 if wearing a robe of the Magi, his wrist. The main difference between this guy and an ancient Kraken is, well, the ability of the Kraken to withstand Doom Horror attacks. Okay?
Yep.
Now there are 2 possible causes for Doom Horror attacks. Wishing under Astral Corruption, and straight wishing for Doom Horrors to serve Pelagia. Compared to a Rainbow, the Kraken needs higher Astral, has Earth, which is a top anti-horror path due to Petrify, but diversifying into other paths comes at a hefty base cost of 80, for a total of 152 points to raise to 4 and get a Blast, or 4 scales. Paths worth considering for Pelagia are Water for cold resistance, so that Sacreds can fight in freezing mists, and Thug's Care for 1 less risk from Frozen Heart, and Nature for poison resistance, foul vapors, and dark vision. The advantage to have even one of these for my Sacreds is quite significant. On the other hand, dumping 4 scales isn't easy. So he's going back to the beginning of the game,
right,
and his decisions on Pretender.
Yeah, he didn't want anybody to know what he was thinking way back then. So
except we saw the Kraken a long time back,
yeah,
and everybody saw that it had high astral, so it was obvious he had the potential for wishing.
Right, we knew he was doing the wishing, but he's going into more detail here, so this is kind of cool to see about how he was thinking about it.
Breakdown on that decision. Production isn't a good choice, as even the Sacreds are resource intensive, and large empires have many temples. Dumping growth and luck comes with serious income downsides, and magic I kinda already dumped for a research build. Neutral to make surviving astral corruption easier, as drain reduces the odds of horror attacks for everyone, and to make fighting doom horrors easier, all of them are stacked with magic power, and some with 1000 damage magic resist attacks and or damage reversal.
Right. So for those, basically, it's easier to fight horrors and drain in many ways, because a lot of them have magic power, which makes them hit harder, dodge more, hit more often, and some of them even have MR attacks, like MR die or whatever, damage reversal.
So the question boils down to, is cold resist or poison resist from dark vision worth not having growth or luck? To be continued next turn. Okay, so he's basically given us a bit of an interview on his early decisions, nothing to do with the current situation.
Right, and his scales, we can see he went for luck, but he didn't go, or he's neutral drain.
Yeah.
And what was the question? How did he pose it at the end? He said,
Cold resist versus
not having growth or luck.
Water or nature on the Kraken. Putting one or the other on the Kraken, but not both. And
we can see he decided not to take those resistances.
We should be able to confirm.
We know, like, if he was saying the trade-off is either you get those, but you're going to have to dump some of your growth or luck scales. Well, he hasn't dumped growth or luck. He has both of them, so he... And I mean, I think we could tell from his bless was like, what, Farcaster something or another? I can't remember if there was an earth component.
It's been a while. Let me check notes while you go ahead. But as far as action, I think it's just storming the 1 foot. No, we already had the
So, yeah, he had taken this fort. I can't remember if it was last turn. I think it was last turn. And then... But it was kind of... The fight, I think, was the previous turn before or something he wrote out. I can't remember exactly. But
yeah.
Now he's doing like a full-on invasion here. This is kind of interesting.
According to what I wrote for notes, Pelagia only took Earth and Astral because he only had magic weapons, strength, and Farcaster.
Okay.
So he went for the safer choice, I guess. Well, not safer, the better scales.
Yes. What's interesting, though, because you and I just started talking about the potential, like I think I said maybe 5 or 6 turns ago that everybody needs to start thinking about astral corruption because the Wish Factory is going for Pelagia. Well, Pelagia had thought about this in Pretender design.
Obviously, yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because I didn't think is Pelagia, like, I don't know. I guess you have to have played Pelagia before and to think that, okay, well, if I go Nexus with Pelagia with the Wish Farm, people are going to go astral corruption, which kind of makes it's like it occurred to me because it makes sense like when you think about it, but it's not necessarily something I would have ever thought about in Pretender design, I don't think.
Yeah, I was struck a little bit by that myself, but then I don't very often sort of anticipate turn 100 plus kind of decisions during Pretender design. I'm usually more focused on getting through mid-game into late game and then assuming that I can make the transition to those sorts of really late game plays like Wish Factory, Astral Corruption, and stuff like that. I sort of assume I can make those shifts by empowerment or forging gear or whatever when the time comes. He basically started right from the beginning that if he was going to win this, it wasn't going to happen until everybody's almost dead. Not everybody's almost dead, but he's down to only maybe 3 people in the game.
Yeah, and
so
the other thing,
off the bat, plan for that.
Yeah, you know, the other thing too is so the Kraken can survive Doom Horrors. However, you know, the idea of Pelagia often is building like a scaling wish economy, so you have multiple wish casters, and those wish casters, unless they're golems, which you've spent a bajillion gems on empowering, are not going to be able to survive Doom Horrors. So.
No. And have we noticed if he summoned Cthulhu or Stargazer?
Yeah, let's take a look.
I haven't seen it.
An ancient Kraken.
A monster fish. The Kraken is there.
Yeah, I don't think we see any signs
of the other
of
Magi because we can't tell.
We can't
if
tell.
If it's in his capital, it's hidden by the Kraken. Because you only get the strongest mage in Scout Report.
So this actually is kind of terrifying. So Pelagia is burning through Zabalba almost as fast. Like, we need to come look at the Ashdod messages too, but like almost as fast as Ashdod is now. And it's looking like he's going to be getting this whole northern stretch of Zabalba, including this lake.
Yeah.
Which means he may end up doing this wraparound where he just goes through all the lake systems. And if you look at it...
Although, give Ashdod credit. He did take the western portion of Zabalba is pretty much locked down.
Yeah.
The area around Uruk.
They bumping? Okay. Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like... I mean, Pelagia is going to get probably at least 8 or 10 provinces out of this, it's looking like.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
He's going to be he's starting to get quite big.
Yeah. And
It
if
would be
you're
interesting
Ashdod after this,
compare
do you
the-
poke Pelagia? I don't think I would want to, because I would feel so beat up after all of this. Oh no.
I wonder if on the province graphs. Oh wow! What the heck? Oh my gosh! He had a second go of it.
A Sabbath. All right, we're gonna read the messages from Ashdod in a second, but I just saw this
Yeah, me too.
and I was
thought he
like,
ran
we've got to
away.
click it.
So we just watched Zabalba's army getting wiped out, and we thought he can't have another one inside there. Whoops! That thug in the front.
So
just got
Wrathful
sold.
Skies is up.
Okay. From Ashdod, I assume.
Yeah. Hal is being cast by the way. Wailing Winds. All these guys are on Guard Commander.
So Ashdod runs away.
Yeah, let's pick up the speed here because this is going to be a slow one.
Yeah, see, the last time, he didn't have a front line of Anakites to actually chop things up. And stuff is running away now. And here it goes.
You know what happened? Like, on one hand, the Guard Commander thing is pretty clever, right? Because you're going to sit there and put up Wrathful Skies, and they're going to eventually die. On the other hand, it's not very clever, because they're berserkers, but their berserk isn't going to trigger until they get hit. And they're not going to hit while they're sitting there guarding Commander. And so basically, because they were on Guard Commander, they sat here undamaged, unberserked, until they routed from Wailing Winds.
Well, I was, I'm in a Disciples game, and my teammate's Is, and he was using a Troll King berserking it. And he couldn't figure out why it would run away. Well, one of the things I'd forgotten or didn't remember, whatever, is that if you hit 100 fatigue, your berserk resets. So you're no longer berserk. And then if you get hit and you break a morale check, well, now you're running away. And it's too late. More berserking won't help you. So, so in the case of these guys, if I didn't notice, but if they were getting fatigued by cold, or they should get fatigued by cold. Yeah, they would. If they were starting to get fatigued out from, even though they have some lightning resist on, they might be getting enough Wrathful Skies to start fatiguing those Anakites. Then they won't berserk either.
I don't think there's anything fatiguing them here. I think it's just, look at them, none of them get hit with anything. Like, a few of them get hit, and then they get angry and they're going to run forward, but mostly, because I think they've got 15 shock resistance, so they're not even going to take damage, really, from the Wrathful Skies.
No, they're just getting killed.
And then the occasional one that gets hit here runs forward, and then they get surrounded and picked off. I think this was just... I mean, this is one of those things which it's so easy after it happens for us to be like, well, clearly he shouldn't have had his guys on body, guard commander. He should have had him on attack, But so, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking like 1,000 times here. However, the cause of his defeat here was like 100% scripting. Whether he could have known this would be the consequence, or whether a reasonable person would have known this would have been the consequence ahead of time, who's to say?
It's a tough call. His only real hope would have been killing the Wailing Winds caster early.
Yeah. Which could have happened, by the way, with Wrathful Skies up. So,
or something on attack rear, or who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, even when you look at it, I mean, Zabalba still took a pounding. He lost so many mages, from Wrathful Skies.
One thing I noticed here is there were no fire elementals coming up from Ashdod.
Yeah.
The previous fight, he had a lot of them, and that would have made a very significant difference.
Yeah.
Because they would have chewed through all that skeleton spam.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't run away.
But, this is one of those things, too. I don't think I've ever encountered it. Like, I've never seen this in a game before, where I've seen berserkers on guard commander that ended up running because they never took damage from Wailing Winds. Like, that's such... I've played this game for years, and I've never seen this specific situation happen. And
it's
so...
a bit unique.
Yeah. And so now it's like something I'm going to scribble in my little notebook and be like, okay, let's make sure this never happens to me.
Yeah, if I'm expecting wailing winds, then you kind of have to go fight.
Right.
Well, and there's a certain element to that is sort of standard. Is that wailing winds is how do you use an allegory here? It puts a time limit on the battle.
Yeah.
And you either have to win it early or you're going to run away.
Right.
So sitting back against wailing winds isn't generally a good call.
Right. And I don't know. I can't think of an obvious advantage to having these guys on guard commander either, other than just protecting him from Hal a little bit. Which it's not like his mage lineup's super vulnerable to Hal either.
Well, I prefer, rather than guard commander, I prefer a sandwich kind of formation with a line in front and a line behind, and the Magi kind of up towards the front line.
Yeah,
that's useful against flyers as well. But I did have things like this happen to me in Tournament 13, using and against Wailing Winds against Therados. And if I remember correctly, I had a couple battles where things like this went wrong for me as well.
Yeah.
Where I just wasn't killing fast enough, and his giant hordes of ghosts took too long to kill, and then my guys ran away.
Yep.
And sadly, your fatigued out Magi are what you lose, and sometimes that's your critical, expensive Magi that cast the big spells.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would argue if you're expecting Wailing Winds, don't sit back and wait. You have to win the fight.
Yeah. I think that's good general advice for fighting into Wailing Winds.
Yeah.
Okay, so message from Ashdod, which for us is going to be maybe a little extra poignant after we just watched that battle on Zabalba's cap, which, of course, he didn't see at the time of writing this, but...
Yeah, he's summarizing it close to our...
Well, victory at a cost. Per usual, cleanly winning on the battlefield, but failing off of it. The battle sheet looked clean, but I got tunnel visioned on attritioning his larger stack outside the cap, and my god drop that I failed to secure a retreat path. Stupid mistakes versus Wailing Winds. I lost far more from that mistake than anything else this war, about 11 mages. Okay, so we were wondering about this. He won the battle, but he had all of his retreat routes cut off. And he had a bunch of mages run, and we weren't sure if the mages that ran would be like, oh, this province that everybody's hanging out in, we can go hang out there with them. Or if they would be like, there's no place to retreat to, we're dead.
And
they're dead. Okay. Which I didn't go test that, so that's good to have confirmed. I wasn't sure. Wailing Winds is overpowered. Oh, man. That's particularly poignant here. But I think I rolled especially bad this combat. The E4 hero that ran on turn 3, the S4 hero that ran on turn 6. I thought about Wailing Winds enough to put a fire hat on the Wrathful caster, but not enough about the obvious surround.
Yeah, we saw last turn the surround, is we noted that.
Right.
That was a smart move by Zabalba.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have taken much to block it. But...
Yeah. The stealthy bats made it less obvious, but I knew that's what he was doing. I'm mentally kicking myself. Kind of hilarious. We were both focused on our trap plays so much that we didn't see the obvious traps from the other player. Moral of the story, you learn far more from your mistakes than your successes. Ooh. Sadly, he has another turn of learning when he opened this one up. Ouch.
Yeah, but, he is clearly winning the war.
Yeah. Well,
it's just...
Yeah. You can win a war at such a high cost that it's not worth it. That was kind of my qualifier experience with Late Age Man. It was like, I won, but pretty early on into that war, I was like, I don't want to win this war. I would rather just get out of it.
Yeah, because you're going to weaken yourself enough to be easy bait or easy
well,
target.
And in context of what's happening, he's paying out the arse for every little tiny inch of soil he gets from Zabalba. And Pelagia's just marching in, taking 10 provinces for free to the north. Don't mind me, Pelagia coming through.
Yep. And see, that might have been an element to what he was doing. Oh, this is important.
All right. Addendum. Pelagia is assisting with the quote-unquote cleanup. I'm doing big air brackets. He gets the underwater forts and the Winter Wolf site and I get the rest. Need to put all of Zabalba's production centers in check ASAP to make this less messy. Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so they've made an agreement on this. Well, that's different.
Well, we're going to see. I think after this, though, maybe Pelagia will stick to the... And we don't know the details of the agreement, right? Like, how much of the northern part of Zabalba is Pelagia going to get? From what Ashdod is saying here, it seems like it's not very much. It's just like a couple provinces, right? And he's going to put a fort under check.
Sounds
but from what it looked like to us, it looks like Pelagia has like 8 more provinces that are going to be coming his way.
Yeah.
And if Pelagia saw this battle on the cap, which I'm sure he did, is that going to change his approach? And will he maybe get a bit more greedy? Which would make sense. I think if I were Pelagia and I saw that, I would be getting more greedy. But, okay,
well, there's an important piece of this, though, is that it means that Ashdod and Pelagia are talking.
Right.
So as long as you're talking, there's a chance to negotiate yourself into a position where you're not desperate.
Right.
If they were talking and Pelagia was just rampaging through these Zabalban lands, grabbing them as quick as he possibly could, then I would be much more concerned for Ashdod, because it would mean he's not in communication.
Right. Okay, so it's always a bit scary when a neighbor finishes a war. So that's Pelagia. He's finished his war with Jotunheim. But Pelagia has said all the right things. He obviously he's obviously in it to win, and that means stalling the game leaders. Pan and Van are racing for the win, rather than fighting each other for it. That makes it dangerous to back either side in a balancing act. I think Pelagia considers me the last nation capable of maintaining the balance of power. I think it serves his long-term play, which clearly involves pearls, either wishes or nexus. So it's not altruism. It's kind of my duty to do so anyway, so I can't object. I would agree
that he's probably the 4th player in this, what is basically a 3-way rush for the win. So he does have the chance to play spoiler here.
Yeah. And I think so. This shows probably a couple things. This shows Pelagia probably has said a lot of this to him, and it probably confirms things that he was thinking already. And I think this is they understand the game state. The game state is exactly what he just said, which is Pan and Van pieced out, and they said, we're going to go eat everybody and make all the other players irrelevant.
We're going to get too big that one of us will win.
Right.
Then we'll have to fight.
Right, which I think was absolutely the right play for them to make. Because before it was like it was like a slowly sinking ship while they were fighting each other. But for Ashdod's perspective, he also doesn't want them to keep running away with the game, and it does make sense for him if Pelagia is saying, hey, like, I want to help you get this war closed down quickly, and then we need to work together to make sure that one of them doesn't win. I think that makes a ton of sense for both of them. Yeah,
and we do know that it's not a spoiler to know that this game goes on a lot longer.
Right.
I mean, we're nowhere near the end recording here on turn 61.
So it's I think the only thing, and it's one of the things that he's kind of pointing out here at the end, is that they're not while they're partners and their incentives are aligned, they're not really equal partners, because he knows that he's in some ways making like a little bit of a deal with the devil, since Pelagia is going to be doing wish farming, which he's already doing, or a nexus play, which he hasn't started doing. So he knows that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still in his interest to work with Pelagia right now.
Well, he's got 3 devils to make a deal with.
Yeah.
His question is which one.
Right.
If he doesn't make a deal and he's taken so much damage, he's in a dangerous situation.
Right. And the weird thing is, because this thing has failed on top of the cap now, he actually needs his deal with Pelagia even more, because he can't afford to keep grinding into his Zabalba. But that makes it even more of a deal with the devil, because it means Pelagia is probably going to get more of the spoils. If I fall to either Pan or Van, then I think the entire game state falls apart to a clear victor through a throne rush, more likely at that point. I'm clearly not on their level. Will be interesting to see the throne plays that are incoming. Like Pelagia, I need the leaders to stall for a while so I can catch up. A Herculean feat given my research state. I really would have preferred to focus on economy and research than fight the Zabalba war. I knew it wouldn't be fast. Yeah.
So here's a funny thing that just occurred to me. I wonder if I was Ashdod right now watching what's happening, I would be reaching out to Ulm and say, hey, if you reach the point that you have to put too many magi in the field that you can't use your boosters, would you share his lanterns and stuff?
Yeah, because I feel like that's maybe
if I was Ulm, I sure wouldn't be giving lanterns to either Vanheim or Pangaea or Pelagia. No way in hell. But there does come a point where you're in a desperate situation where you may as well strip the lanterns off your magi and send those magi to fight.
Yeah, I mean, if Ulm could take 20 lanterns and sell them to Ashdod for 3 gems apiece, that's 60 gems incoming. That would be a huge boon for Ashdod. And the other thing it could maybe Ulm be enough to turn the war around for Ulm.
Well, and the other thing for Ulm is chances are his research is at that point where anything left to research, a handful of lanterns isn't going to make a significant difference. It might be 5 to 10% of the additional step. Yeah. Because the steps are so damn big when you're up where he is.
Yeah.
The magic boost for research boosters, in my view, is in that mid-game realm where you're paying 800 for a path or 1,600. When you're starting to pay 3,000 plus for a single gain, whether or not you've got boosters may or may not make any difference.
Well, I mean, I think the boosters are great. The boosters are good all game for getting you to your next thing. I'll stand by that. But I think the bigger thing for Ulm is how much is the next research jump going to do for him compared to using all of his mages right now and having gems to put on those mages?
That's the first part of what I was saying, exactly. The second part is sometimes I'll stop making research boosters because I look at it and I go, well, I could put 10 magi on forging to get another 5% research, or I could have those 10 magi either fight or research.
Well, I mean, also, as the game goes on, eventually you run out of things to research, right? And the last things you research are probably going to be your least valuable ones. So if there's still a window where you can sell your lanterns and you will have had them for 15 turns, making you research better, and then you can sell them and get a good price for them, that could be a good deal too.
Right, and turn that into combat power.
Right.
Troops or elementals or whatever.
Yep.
And
I think mass elementals is one of the ways for Ulm to kill one of these Vanheim armies.
Absolutely.
If he gets like 40 or 50 elementals out and then is able to buff them, that's one of the things that could maybe destroy some of this Vanheim stuff. All right, so let's read this addendum real quick.
Yeah.
I've put bodyguards on everything that's invading Zabalba's cap. Oh. Would like to catch his last water bottle assassin before splitting and trying to sit on multiple forts. Hopefully doesn't bite me. Oh.
So we watched the fight before we read this. Oh. And now we're going, oh man.
Oh. Going to rely on wrathful shaman healing, skellies, and Zams advancing and casting, sending Bane Lords to the fort west of the cap, hopefully to keep the recruiting mecha on lockdown. It hurts.
Okay. Well, but you make those guesses and you make those decisions that, okay, I think this is what the other guy's going to do. He does something the exact opposite and your script is the wrong one.
Yep.
It's not
you protect against bodyguards, but then you get screwed by wailing winds. Or protect against assassins and then get it screwed by wailing winds. So.
It's so hard to sort of build a script that can handle 2 or 3 different methods of attack.
Oh, okay. So I think we have now covered everything, Marilyn, haven't we? Let's make sure we watched all the little bitty fights here with.
Yeah.
Okay, Banelord
Okay.
chops through a bunch of stuff. This was probably a
What has
dust to
he got
dust
on
caster.
these? What has he got on these
don't know.
Banelords? Anything interesting or just budget?
Ooh, a
Oh.
lot of stuff. These are fancy pantsy Banelords.
Yeah, these are expensive Banelords. Well, one's just a Bane, right? Or is one enlarged?
One's enlarged. This one up
Okay.
here has got a Amulet of Giants.
Okay, well those are army killers.
Hashmel comes up here.
And succeeds. So
Hashmel comes here and succeeds.
those
Small
are taken
army
out.
comes here with the Glyph comes in.
Oh,
Let's see
the
what the
Glyph.
Glyph did. Foul Vapors. Just gassing
doesn't
frogs. Yeah. Is he
Fire
returning
element.
on this? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so it probably goes home. It did a lot of damage. Oh,
Yeah. Gasses them. And then comes in with a proper army. And
but
then,
it had run away.
Yeah, I don't know where this Zabalban army went, actually. I think this Zabalban army actually probably came up here and
It was probably
joined.
part of that.
Yeah.
And now it's pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Almost all the Magi died.
Way raids here. Takes this. And, okay. Yeah. Oof.
Oh, was that a Bane from Ind? Ind had a Bane there in that forest?
Yeah.
Oh,
Taken from
Bane.
Pangaea. Yeah.
Ind used Bane. Okay.
Well, the end of this still isn't exactly in sight for Ashdod. And he's been as cautious as anybody I've ever seen taking this cap.
Very cautious.
And it just hasn't worked out still. It's
No.
just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's going to win now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. He's got to hold
The
on
only
to this
thing
Zabalba territory a long time for this war to pay off.
the only thing I was thinking we might want to take a glance at, is there anything to say about Sitis's situation?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
I didn't really see anything. His capital is under siege. He's got little bits of units around, but boy, there's not much left.
No. His god died recently.
Yeah.
The writing's on the wall for Sitis. I mean, let's take a look at some score graphs. We haven't done score graphs in a while. Sitis. I mean, we looked at some of them, but let's do the broad.
The broad of everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
of everybody who's relevant.
And we should have a quick glance at globals. I don't think there's been any change,
Yeah.
but just in there.
So provinces, Vanheim's pretty much ahead of the pack. There's a bunch of people clustered around here at various levels, and then Sitis is on the way out. Forts, Vanheim and Ulm are up here, and then everybody else is down here, and then Sitis is down at the bottom. Income, Ulm and Vanheim. It's funny how high Ulm is in all these graphs, but it's kind of what we've been saying. The graphs don't really. I don't know. The game state feels a lot different than what the graphs say.
So I'm looking at that Sitis income and going, okay, half his cap income was just taken. I bet you he's bleeding
Yeah.
troops now.
Yeah.
I bet you he's in negative income.
Look at this Pelagia graph, dude. Somebody has just woken up. And in terms of
Yeah, well,
momentum, look at that.
He took a lot of territory from Jotun and
Yeah.
from Zabalba now.
And this isn't going to stop. He's still got 8 more provinces, which is going to put him up, right up here with the game leaders for income.
Well, there's a factor there as well, is he hasn't had as much back and forth, so he's
Yeah.
not sitting at 40 and 60 and 80 unrest.
Yeah, that's true too.
He's had straightforward wins.
Yeah. Gym income.
Jim?
Ooh, Vanheim is just crushing it. Woo!
But a lot of Pelagias will be invisible to us.
Yeah, we can kind of maybe tell with, who has Earthblood Deepwell? Ulm does. We can probably see that spike and then measure out Wish from it. So Ulm is right here.
So looks like about
So this is
Yeah,
about 20.
so-
1, 2, 3, 4. So each of these bars is about 5. So he's about... If Pelagia's got 1 Wish turn, he's actually right up here with them.
That's
with
what I
one
was
wish
thinking.
farm. If he's got 2 wish farms, he would be above.
Yeah.
So, but this is actually interesting because Pelagia has this graph. He can use this graph to fearmonger Vanheim, but he's actually probably equal with Vanheim and gem income.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody in this game knows that.
I don't know.
But, this is something that anybody back from Dominions 3 and 4 in the days of Clams of Pearls knows a lot about is there's invisible gem income in the game.
Right.
And it's not anywhere near as much of an issue in 5, but it still exists. There still are forms of gem income that don't show up here.
But, it's kind of the thing. It's like what was happening when we were talking about that Diplo message from Ashdod and what Pelagia was telling him. I think if I were Ashdod, I would be much more worried about Vanheim and Pan running away with the game now than I would be about Pelagia. Like, I probably would partner up with Pelagia some, because it looks like Vanheim might just completely run away with the game right now.
It does. Yeah, because he's not taking hardly any attrition.
Right.
Whereas Pangaea is actually taking some attrition.
But when you just start lifting up the covers a little bit, you see it's a lot closer than it might otherwise seem. Like it's true that Vanheim's probably running away with the game, but it's also true Pelagia is getting ready to.
Mm-hmm.
Research, Pelagia is number 1 by a margin. I mean, over everybody else aside from Ulm.
Yeah, and we know why Ulm's up there.
Yeah.
And we also know that isn't helping him much right now.
Right. Not yet. Dominion
graph. That doesn't tell us much. Nobody's at risk.
Everybody did go down. There was some event, though. You're right.
I'm sure that was a worldwide event.
Army size, Ulm taking a beating, Vanheim going up and creaking down some. Ashdod, where's Ashdod? Ashdod, oh no, this was Ashdod creaking down.
Not bad for Ashdod. Where's
Tis,
Xibalba?
though, is crashed.
I don't think you don't have Xibalba on.
No, well, they're dead.
Oh!
Obviously, the dead player's out. Yeah. Rip.
Well, the army graph really shows it.
Yeah, Frog Mountain.
Yeah, that's just devastating. All right.
And Ascension points. Is it end number 1? Ends in position 1 on.
Okay, but those are open for any scooping.
Yeah.
They are not well defended. So.
All right. Well, I think we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining me, Mayor.
You're welcome. And I shouldn't record another because I need to get All Stars ready.
Yes. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.